Hi, my name is Juana Beutin and I'm going to talk and analyze this story that is called Lamb to the Slaughter. First of all, I'm going to say the settling place. This story is set in Mary Malone's house most of the time because we can notice because at the beginning of the story, Mary Malone is waiting impatiently to her husband to come back from work and to go to eat dinner with him. Also, we can say that the house is a very important part of the story because it's where she, Mary Malone, killed her husband, Patrick. We can also know that this family or this couple is middle class because they drink whiskey, they eat very well, and also they go to clubs every weekend. Also, we can know that this story is said or tell in the 50s because at that time women were used to be at home to cook to her husbands or to stay at home taking care of their children and cleaning all the house. Well, now I'm going to talk about characterization. In this story we have two main characters. Also we have another characters that are, for example, the policeman and the man who works at the grocery. But the two main characters in this story are Patrick, that is the husband, and Mary Malone, that is the wife. They were a couple and they were married, and also they were expecting a baby. Well, Patrick is a character described by dialogues, and we can see this because of the way he answered Mary in a very cold way every time. Also, he show with no kindness. He's cold, and he shows no interest in the supposed love both of them have. In the other hand, Mary, the wife, is a dynamic character. She changes a lot in this story. For example, at the beginning of the story, Mary is a character that shows love to her husband. She's really in love with him, and every time he came back from work, she is very happy waiting to him and asking every time, what do you need, if you want something. But then when her husband said to broke up with her, she freaks out and she changes a lot, and she starts to and she killed her husband with a lamb. And when that happened, she left all the love that she had to Patrick behind, and she started thinking of her future from herself, and to her future son or daughter. Well, now I'm going to talk about the plot. That in the plot we are going to talk about the most important events that happen in the story. And in this case, the most important are Mary killing Patrick, and also Mary planning how to get out of these consequences of the murder. Well, the story, the plot is believable because all these events can happen in real life and in a common couple. And the author uses a lot of literary devices. One of them is symbolism that is shown in the piece of lamb that Mary used to kill Patrick. This piece of lamb represents innocence that is shown in Mary at the beginning of the story, because Mary is shown as a very innocent character of the way she shows all her love. She was really in love with her husband, and also she looks more innocent because she was pregnant. So when Patrick told her that they were going to get divorced, maybe she was in shock, or maybe she didn't think, uh, maybe she acted without thinking, and she killed her husband. But if we think in the way of Patrick, maybe Patrick didn't love her and didn't deserve to be killed by Mary. Well, also there are also another literary devices. One of them is foreshadowing and imagery. Well, in foreshadowing, um, we can see in the behavior of Patrick at the beginning of the story, because Patrick looks really weird of the way he acts, the way he answered Mary in a very cold way, and he was very cold and a very close person, so we can interpret, or maybe we can perceive that something weird was going to happen. Um, Also, we have imagery that we can see this of the way the author used. Well, now I'm going to talk about point of view and narrator. The narrator in Lamb to the Slaughter is omniscient because it's an all-knowing outsider. This means that the narrator can enter in the mind of every character at the same time. For example, when the policemen were at Mary's home, we know where they were, and also we know where Mary was. Also, the story is told by Mary's perspective, and for example, we don't know why Patrick want to leave her. Now I'm going to talk about the conflict and the climax of the story. The climax is the greatest point of tension in the story. In this case is when Patrick is killed by a frozen leg of lamb by his wife, and after this Mary has a big change of behavior. In this story we have two conflicts. The first one is when Mary received the notice that she was going to get divorced, and this implies a major change in her life, especially because she was pregnant and she has one income. Then she resolved this conflict by killing Patrick. The second conflict is the way she needs to plan to get away from this trouble. And now I'm going to talk about the tone and mood of the story. The tone is ironic and humorous because it's like funny. The way, for example, Mary says, "Okay, now I will kill him," and or the policemen were eating the lamb, that is the evidence, and they say maybe the evidence is under our noses, and they were eating the lamb. And the mood is dramatic, mysterious, and ironic because we don't know what is going to happen until we get to the end of the story.